Waiting until you're 65 to feel like you've made it seems like a risky venture, but no one tells you that.
If we wait, the odds of getting to experience the life we look forward to are not as good.
So we're cutting out early because we don't want to take the chance.
And we're moving into this old motorhome in just 3 months.
So join us to see how we make that happen. Hey roamers, I'm Jamie.
I'm Linda, and this is Dexter.
And this is Roaming with Rosie.
And if you've just found us, welcome. In a few short months, we're leaving the corporate world behind and moving into this 2006 Alpha Sia diesel pusher to explore America.
And we've decided not to tempt fate any longer. We're both still in really good health to be able to travel and enjoy the adventures we love.
Yeah, so we're cutting the budget, letting go of material things, renting out our home, and catching up with those who've gone before us.
Now, keeping our sticks and bricks means we're not going out and buying a giant fifth wheel and a big truck to pull it.
Yeah, we'll be on a pretty tight budget. We might even have to pick up some work camping jobs along the way.
And like you, we watch a lot of YouTube full-time RVers to get the best ideas on how to do this.
Yeah, it can quickly feel overwhelming, and most of those videos are geared towards selling everything they own to hit the road.
Judging by the feedback we've received over the past week, we are not alone in wanting to keep our home.
Yeah, we want to have the ability to return to our former life at some point if we decide to. In our last episode, we asked ourselves a series of very specific questions in order to help us make decisions.
We chose to make our home a short-term rental, which means we'd be renting out to snowbirds, maybe medical nurses, or other medical professionals.
Yeah, and we still have a boatload of stuff to do in just a few short months.
Right, over the past few evenings, Linda and I started making our list, the ones that we promised you, which turned out to be several lists, because what we decided was if we didn't break it up into certain categories, then it would kind of get lost in the pages.
So as of now, we've got 5 categories of lists, and then we'll go in and we'll prioritize those so that we know what order we want to get things done in. And here's what they are. Readying the house for short-term rental and beefing up our security system.
Getting Rosie ready, things to purchase and install.
Our travel plans, which includes the memberships and reservations we need to get.
Healthcare, our new insurance plan.
And we'd have personal business to take care of, like our banking and setting up our mail, stuff like that. So after doing this, we went to bed feeling excited and ready to tackle it. And when I woke up in the morning, I was getting hives, and it all just got very real.
Yeah, so we turned to friends and fellow YouTubers who we look to for advice and also encouragement. And they're probably some of the YouTubers you already watch, or if you don't watch, after watching this video, you probably will.
Yeah. So we asked them 2 questions that...
Other than dealing with your home and your property,
what were some important things you wish you knew before you first started out?
And what were some things you were glad you prepared for before you hit the road?
We met up with Kent and Lisa of the YouTube channel Living Light RV a year ago at the Quartzsite meetup. And they've been so supportive of us, but that's how they are with everyone that they connect with. They're really genuine people, and they answered our questions and helped us out a bunch here. And they wrote that they chose to purchase a vintage motorhome and renovate it. The way things worked out, they only had 2 weeks to get that done before hitting the road. So they wanted us to know that they don't recommend doing that. They also said that your home on wheels doesn't have to win Pinterest awards. Just focus on making it your home. It just puts added stress on you at a time that you're already making so many decisions and changes.
They were glad they kept their focus on their dream during this emotional and often difficult time. And their approach was to go all in and trust the people who have gone before them and who were telling them the truth, that it would all be worth it. For them, they took the attitude that this would be a permanent lifestyle change. Because of this thinking, they had nothing to go back to, and it forced them to push through the difficult days on the road. Because they had no option to turn back, it keeps them moving forward, and they are thankful for that foundation.
Thanks, Ken and Lisa. That was so helpful. And we'll put a link down below in the description for you to watch them. They are so inspiring all the time. Brian and Shauna of Life Uninterrupted have been on the road for, I think, close to 2 years now. And we share a connection to the same part of the Phoenix, Arizona area and a growing friendship. They went from a huge, beautiful home and corporate careers to living in their RV as nomads with their 2 Frenchies.
Right, and they've been so incredibly supportive to us, and boy, did they have a rough start out on the road. They had unexpected repairs on the RV and also their Jeep.
So here's what they wrote to us in answer to our questions. In the first year, they ended up needing to replace the engine in their motorhome. Replace it. It couldn't have happened on this side of the country where they had family and new people. No, it waited until they were on the East Coast to crap out on them. In a previous episode, we talked about what happened to them, and if you can say anything was lucky about this, that was that they had the FMCA plan, and that kept a roof over their heads while they decided what they were going to have to do.
Yeah, and it also offset some of the costs
Right.
as well.
Right. They told us that the other bit of luck that they had was being able to drive their motorhome all the way back to Arizona to a place that they trusted to rebuild their engine. That starting out, they had no idea it would be so hard to find reputable shops to do the work on their vehicles. And with their Jeep, they've ended up with some of the same type of problems with unscrupulous repair shops and overcharged for substandard work because they were limited to using Google to find places to go. They also said it was important to have an emergency fund and to ask locals for recommendations on where to find trustworthy repair shops.
Now, they wrote to us, on the other hand, they were really glad they prepared for another kind of emergency. They outfitted their coach with a tire pressure monitoring system that potentially saved the Jeep and the coach from going up in flames. In the first few months of full time, their braking mechanism on the tow system was triggered and they were unaware. But the tire pressure monitoring system indicated a rapid rise in tire pressure and temperature. They were able to pull over, grab a fire extinguisher, and put the fire out. Without the tire pressure monitoring system, it could have been devastating.
So we're definitely planning on installing one of these systems before we hit the road.
Right, and when we purchased Rosie 2, it came with the tow hitch, and it's to tow 4 down. So that's really good, but the cool thing about that is we were contemplating 4 down or a tow dolly, and because this already came with it, we're going to do 4 down, and that's going to be the other option that's really cool about that. We won't have to, when we're camping, we won't have to stow that tow dolly anywhere.
Right, but we'll have to lose both our cars in trade for something that can tow 4 down.
Right, okay. Thanks, Brian and Shauna.
Yeah, Life Uninterrupted is a very popular channel, but not only that, their website is really informational, and you can get a lot of information from that too.
Right, and we'll have a link to their for all their information down in the description below. We met Greg and Shelley of Day's Great Adventure this year at the Q.
That's Quartzsite.
And they hit the road a little over a year ago and are just having a blast. And their YouTube channel is really just starting to take off.
Right, and Greg's a really talented chef, and we love to watch his channel and see what he comes up with. It makes us hungry.
Now, Greg and Shelley just came off of one of those gigs at Oilfield Gate Guard in Texas. And this is one of those opportunities for RVers with the right mindset.
Right. And they did a few episodes while they were doing that job. Wow, more power to them. It's a 24/7 job, so they took turns doing it. And on top of that, they had to deal with the weather, as you've all heard from Texas,
Right.
and they had to deal with the dust and the dirt. And they came up with some ingenious ways to deal with it.
Right.
The advice they wrote to us is to go into this venture of full-time RV life debt-free if possible. They find it so much more stress-free to not have to worry about making monthly payments on their RV, a house, or pay off bills that came along for the ride.
They have another piece of advice for couples going into this lifestyle. You need to be both on the same page. If one of you is not sure about this idea, you probably shouldn't sell it all to go into this venture.
They did suggest, if this is the case, to think of renting out your house and storing your belongings until you've tried it for a period of time.
They knew they both wanted to do this and were in complete agreement to begin this lifestyle, and they're really enjoying it.
check out their channel. They're a lot of fun. The channel is Day's Great Adventure, and we'll put a link down below in the description.
We haven't met Deanna and Bill in person yet, but we really love their channel, Living the Silver Life, and their nomad travel. They share their experiences of places they explore from a perspective that we can really relate to.
Yeah, this community is really a fun thing to be part of. It's kind of like having pen pals, except because everybody's moving about the country all the time, you actually get to meet up.
They were glad of some of the purchases they made before hitting the road. And when they set out, they did some major traveling the very first year, and we're going to be doing quite a bit of boondocking.
Okay.
They wrote to us. One of the first investments they made was to add 3 solar panels and lithium batteries. It was an investment up front, but certainly saved a lot of money on the road.
Yeah, that first trip that they had was to Canada and Alaska, and they did it without making any reservations. They said that's Bill's preferred way to travel.
They aren't necessarily advising to fly by the seat of your pants like they do, but what they are saying is to be flexible.
Yeah, Deanna said, we will just drive until Bill says he's got about an hour left in him, and then I start looking on the Allstays app and start calling.
She says it works about 80% of the time, and whenever possible, they boondock. They say don't be afraid to wing it, and they feel they don't have to leave anywhere they're not done exploring yet.
Yeah, she also said, you may not always stay exactly where you want, but you have more options if your rig is equipped to handle them. It's funny, I approach so much in life with over-the-top caution, or at least that's the way it feels like to me. Like if we're going on a trip, I'll research everything about where we're going, how to get there, where to eat, where to shop, which I won't be doing anymore. But when it comes to making reservations, I'm way happier to relax about that. It's actually making the reservations that gives me so much stress, because the whole time that we're out doing something, I've got an eye on the calendar, the clock. What do we have to do tomorrow? What time do we have to go to sleep tonight? Do we have to get up early? So I totally relate to the way that they do stuff. They also wrote about what they're concerned about, that this summer may bring millions of newbie RVers out there, and it might not work for them to continue to fly by the seat of their pants.
Right. And they want to remind others considering this lifestyle that you want to remember this is not a perpetual holiday.
And unless you have, they also said, unless you have limitless amounts of money, of course, but keep in mind your budget while you explore and enjoy new places. Thanks, Deanna and Bill, for helping us out with your advice. We'll put a link down below in the description so you can be sure to check out their channel. Thanks to all the channels that are helping us out here. You definitely want to go down to our description and check them all out. And at the moment, we're trying to take care of all of our medical and dental needs, just to make sure that there isn't anything looming out there before we hit the road and lose my employer-provided medical insurance.
Yes. And also, in a couple of weeks, it's just going to get to be too hot here in Phoenix to get anything done that has to be done outside. So I'm trying to get all of those things done now before it ramps up and just gets to be too hot.
And it's been really a lot of fun reading all your comments, your support, and those of you who have learned something or relate to the way that we're approaching RV life.
Yeah, and it's been really helpful for those of you who have been sharing your experiences that we can learn from as well.
In the description below, we've got links for the products and equipment that we use for our adventures.
And if you enjoy this channel, you can support us by using our affiliate link with Amazon, which is down in the description below, or any of the other affiliates we're associated with. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
And ring that bell so you'll be notified each time we put out a new video.
And make sure to leave a comment so you can be part of that conversation.
Until next time.
See ya.